Good morning, my good people. It is August 8th, and I'm in the mood to make a video, but not just a video about politics or gripes or complaints. In fact, this video is really kind of personal to me because this is what I intend to do for the rest of my life. Yeah, professionally and otherwise. So, anyway, it's a video about drones, and in fact, it's going to be a webcast about drones. I've recently just had my mind blown. I've always loved drones, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that passion and that what got me to this point. But I'm also going to open your eyes to the possibility of commercial drone applications. I just told everybody that I've been in the selection process for the AT&T Volunteer Drone Pilot Program, where I work, and I'm wearing the Death Star official colors of AT&T. But I've been accepted into that program as of last week, and all of my vice presidential approvals up to the senior VP level have been signed, sealed, and delivered. So I am in like Flynn, and I've started receiving my training schedule, both online training as well as flight training and physical drone handling and educational training. So that's going to begin in earnest in the September timeframe and finishing in the end of the October timeframe. So basically about 2 months worth of training in the midst of pandemic. So there's going to be a lot of changes to the program, locations and travel and all that good stuff. But anyway, I just wanted to, I wanted to let the world know that, because this is something I've been praying on, right? So I've been working in the telecommunications industry for about 24 years now. I've seen it all. I've been on a ladder pulling cables up in roofs. I have been in the front office doing sales management, sales engineering. I've done pretty much worn every hat. I've owned my own company, finance, invoicing, after hours, late at night after all the work's done, weekend cuts that last all weekend. I mean, you name it. I've been there and I've done it. Most recently, I've worked for several large organizations, first of which being a startup called BellSouth.net. BellSouth.net was eventually to become the southeastern region arm of AT&T Internet Services, the 9-state region here. But when it was a baby, I didn't start it, but I came as it was just getting off the ground with pretty much dial-up, and we were just beginning to deploy DSL, right? And so me and my 8 other partners in the 9 states of the Southeast deployed all of the routing, head-end routing equipment in the central offices, and physically with my own hands for the first 3 years, and then we were purchased in earnest by Bell South in about the 2003-4 timeframe, in which case we became Insta managers and applicable to union rules, in which case I would sit behind a guy who was union, and I would say, hey, take that cable. I'm looking over his shoulder, pointing, and I say, take that cable. No, not that one. Yeah, that one. And plug it into that hole right there. No, not that one. Yes, that one. Boom. Okay, let me look at my laptop. That's union rules at AT&T. And it is what it is. I get it. There's a clean division there. But it was shocking, coming from a startup division of Bell South to a more mature Bell South proper. But in the 2004 timeframe, I believe, 2003, 4, or 5, right after the acquisition by Bell South Telecommunications, Bell South Telecommunications was acquired by a bigger monster, AT&T, under the SBC, which was a large, operating company, and sort of there became this cosmic recombination of the RBUCs, or the regional Bell operating companies, under the AT&T banner again. So divested, exploded, come back together. So anyway, that's where we're at today. I work for AT&T. I've worked for AT&T now for 8 years this time, a total of about 14 years with AT&T. And in that time, I've done just about everything there is to do. So right now, my current project is FirstNet. So if you're following telecommunications stuff on the internet, you will be aware that FirstNet exists, and it is a monstrous program. FirstNet was signed into law in 2012 by President Obama, And it was funded when Trump came into office. And in the 2016-2017 timeframe, we were given funding to go ahead and create a FirstNet network. Now, this is a cellular network. It coexists alongside of our normal commercial cellular network. However, it's a specific purpose-built network where, under normal circumstances, it acts just as another expansion component of our cellular commercial network. Right, it works fine. You can get on it. I can get on it. It just helps the whole industry as a general. It gives more spectrum availability to our customers and speeds things up. Gives us faster download, upload speeds, all that good stuff. But in the event of a national emergency, like in the case of 9/11. Only first responders would have access to this sort of parallel network, and that would ensure that if a national emergency occurred, as first responders load that network with their capacity, it would kick off consumer users to the point where there were no consumers and it was all first responders. And then, if they needed more and more capacity, depending on the extent and the size of the emergency, they could start dipping into our commercial spectrum pools, and eventually they could overtake the entire network if it needed. Right. So this would prevent a complete network crash like what occurred on 9/11. So if you're not familiar with that, yeah, it was not pretty. So that's just a little bit of about where I am and what I've done for AT&T. But I'd like to move into this next phase, right, which is the use of commercial drones to solve real-world telecommunications problems. And the commercial drone program at AT&T is actually fairly mature. I will be dotted line working. I still maintain my same job functions. In fact, I work for a company called, an organization called NEO. NEO stands for Network Operation and Engineering. So we are in charge of the build. So everything that gets constructed within the AT&T network, that's our organization. I'm specifically within the mobility vertical, and my organization does all the capital build programs. We manage, from a national oversight perspective, all the national capital build programs for the cellular network. FirstNet being one of the big ones, and that's my specific project. And it consists of about 52,000 total sites within our network will have FirstNet gear on them and capable of FirstNet. So anyway, that's pretty daunting. It's a total of they're paying us, FirstNet, federal government's paying us $7 billion to build this network. My portion, my capital build, I'm funded up to $5 billion. Each year we're running capital at about capital expenditures somewhere between 1.3, 1.4, 1.5 billion. This year will be a $1.4 billion, I think, run. And we've got another year and a half left 2 years left on that project until its completion. We're ahead of schedule, we're crushing it. We're covering. The map is mostly covered, with the exception of some of our very rural spaces out in the desert Southwest, or just in the North 40. And the government is incentivizing us to build into those areas, so we're doing it at all possible speed.